Our story begins in the heart of Yellowstone National Park, where the majesty of nature reigns supreme and the footprints of civilization fade. A group of hikers embark on a journey that would etch itself forever in their memories. The sun, a firing orb in the sky, bathed the vast landscape in a warm golden glow. The towering peaks, verdant forests, and the winding rivers of Yellowstone promise both beauty and peril. Among the hikers were Jake, a seasoned outdoorsman with years of experience in the wild; Emily, a wildlife biologist with a deep respect for nature; and Alex and Sarah, a young couple seeking adventure in the untamed wilderness. Their laughter and excited chatter echoed through the forest, a stark contrast to the usual tranquility. As they ventured deeper into the park, the dense canopy of trees cast a shadowy veil over their path. The chorus of nature surrounded them, the rustling of leaves, the distant call of birds, and the gentle whisper of the wind. Emily, with a keen eye for wildlife, pointed out the tracks of various animals they encountered along the trail: deer, elk, and even the faint tracks of a mountain lion. But nothing prepared them for the heart-stopping moment when they came face to face with the true ruler of these lands, a massive grizzly bear. Its fur, a rich, dark brown with hints of silver, shimmered in the dappled sunlight. The bear's muscles rippled beneath its thick coat, a testament to its raw power and agility. The hikers froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. Jake, aware of the gravity of the situation, whispered urgently for everyone to slowly back away. But before they could retreat, the bear, sensing their presence, let out a guttural growl that reverberated through the forest. In a flash of terrifying speed, the grizzly charged. Its massive paws thudded against the ground, each step an earthquake in its own right. Jake, acting on instinct, shouted for the group to scatter, hoping to confuse the bear. The chaos that ensued was a blur. Emily found herself scrambling up a tree, her heart racing as she watched the horrifying scene unfold below. Alex and Sarah, in a panic, ran in different directions, disappearing into the thick underbrush. But Jake wasn't so lucky. The grizzly, with its target locked, barreled towards him with relentless fury. Jake, an experienced outdoorsman, knew the futility of outrunning a grizzly. He made a split-second decision to play dead, hoping against hope that the bear would lose interest. The bear loomed over him, its hot breath and a foul stench in the air. With a force that seemed to shake the very earth, the grizzly swiped at Jake, its claws tearing through fabric and flesh. The pain was excruciating, but Jake remained motionless, suppressing every instinct to cry out. Emily, perched in the tree, watched in horror as the bear continued its assault. The sight of the grizzly, a majestic yet terrifying creature, was both awe-inspiring and heart-wrenching. Its eyes, a deep brown, held a primal intelligence, a stark reminder of their intrusion into its domain. After what seemed like an eternity, the bear, exhausted, finally lost interest in the unmoving Jake and lumbered away, disappearing into the forest as silently as it had appeared. The silence that followed the bear's departure was deafening. It settled over the forest like a thick, oppressive blanket, broken only by the faint rustling of leaves and the distant call of a bird. Emily remained perched in the tree, her heart pounding so loudly she feared it would betray her hiding spot to the bear. Her eyes were fixed on Jake's motionless form below, praying silently for him to show some sign of life. Minutes passed, each second stretching into eternity. Finally, with a cautious, almost imperceptible movement, Jake stirred. He opened his eyes, wincing in pain, and slowly assessed his injuries. His clothes were torn, and he was bleeding. But miraculously, the bear had not inflicted any fatal wounds. He lay there for a moment longer, gathering his strength. Then, with a Herculean effort, he pushed himself into a sitting position. Emily let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. She carefully descended from the tree, her limbs trembling. Reaching Jake, she knelt beside him, her professional instincts taking over as she quickly examined his wounds. "Jake, you're alive," she whispered, her voice a mixture of relief and worry. Jake managed a weak smile. "Takes more than a grizzly to get rid of me," he said, trying to lighten the mood despite the pain. Their immediate concern was now to locate Alex and Sarah and then find a way to safety. Emily helped Jake to his feet, and they started calling out for the young couple, their voices echoing through the forest. Meanwhile, Alex and Sarah, who had run blindly in their panic, found themselves lost amidst the dense foliage. Their initial fear of the bear had now turned into a fear of being lost in the vast wilderness with no sense of direction. Sarah's voice was hoarse from shouting, and Alex tried to console her, though his own fear was palpable. As the day wore on, the reality of their situation sank in. They were lost in Yellowstone National Park, injured and without a clear path back to civilization. Their survival skills were put to the test as they navigated through the forest, looking for landmarks and trying to find a water source. The night brought a new set of challenges. The temperature dropped, and the forest sounds seemed more ominous in the dark. Jake and Emily managed to start a fire, the flames providing a small comfort against the vast dark wilderness. They huddled together, conserving their strength, and planned their next move. "We need to find Alex and Sarah at first light," Jake said determinedly, "and then we need to find a way out of here." Emily nodded, her mind racing with possible routes and survival strategies. She knew the forest was unforgiving, and they needed all their wits about them if they were going to make it out alive. Emily's thoughts raced as she stared into the flickering flames of their small campfire. The forest around them was a labyrinth of trees and shadows, each rustle in the underbrush a reminder of the dangers lurking in the dark. Jake, nursing his wounds beside her, seemed lost in thought too, his eyes reflecting the fire's glow. As the first light of dawn began to seep through the trees, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, they set out. Their first priority was to find Alex and Sarah. They called out their names, hoping for a response, but the only answer was the echo of their own voices. Hours passed. The terrain was rugged, and Jake's injuries slowed them down. But they persevered, driven by a mix of hope and desperation. They checked every possible shelter, any sign of human presence, but found nothing. It was as if Alex and Sarah had vanished into thin air. Meanwhile, Alex and Sarah, equally determined to reunite with their friends, had managed to find a small stream. The relief of finding water was palpable, but it was overshadowed by the uncertainty of their situation. They followed the stream, hoping it would lead them to a trail or a landmark. Back with Jake and Emily, the situation was becoming dire. They had limited food, and Jake's wounds needed proper medical attention. Emily's knowledge of the wilderness was their greatest asset, but even she knew that their chances of finding help were dwindling as time passed. In a moment of quiet determination, Emily suggested a bold plan. "We should head north," she said. "If we can reach higher ground, we might spot a ranger station, or at least get our bearings." Jake agreed, and they set off, conserving their energy and keeping an eye out for any signs of Alex and Sarah. The climb was grueling, but Emily's intuition paid off. From a high ridge, they spotted a thin column of smoke in the distance, a sign of human presence. Filled with a renewed hope, they made their way towards the smoke, each step bringing them closer to salvation. As they approached, they heard voices and saw figures moving around a small campsite. It was a group of park rangers on a routine patrol. The relief that washed over Emily and Jake was overwhelming. They explained their ordeal, and the rangers immediately set out a search party for Alex and Sarah. The search was arduous, but by late afternoon, a radio call confirmed that Alex and Sarah had been found. They were tired, hungry, and a little worse for wear, but alive. The reunion was emotional, each of them grateful to see each other safe. The rangers escorted them back to civilization. Their journey in the wilderness in Yellowstone National Park coming to an end. But the memories of what they had endured, the fear, the struggle, and the triumph over adversity would remain with them forever. As they left Yellowstone, the park seemed to watch them go, its mysteries and dangers hidden once again behind a veil of serene beauty. They had come seeking adventure and found a profound respect for the wild and for their own strength and resilience. Their story, a harrowing tale of survival against the odds, would be told and retold, a reminder of the unpredictable power of nature and the unbreakable human spirit that endures it.